Laredo, take us out.
Take her out.
Every Friday night, join the fun and let's go off-world. Geek out with us live, where the nerdiness will thrive. Buckle up and let's go off-world. Toys, comics, pop culture news, movies and so much more. Matthew, Jesse, Curtis and Sean are your guides on this fun-filled tour. Take flight each and every Friday night. Join the fun and let's go off-world. Let's go off-world. Let's go off-world. Hey, hey, hey. Let's go off-world tonight.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to OffWorld. It is a Friday night, and we are here just like we have been each and every Friday night. Thanks everybody in the chat. Join us on this wonderful night. Crack them if you got them. Let's get OffWorld. Who we got with us tonight?
Hi, I'm Curtis.
I'm Sean.
Jesse's pooping.
Jesse's pooping.
So then he'll need to shower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If Jesse takes a poop, then Jesse must take a shower. If Jesse takes a shower,
Then Jesse's not allowed to poop until he poops. And then he has to take the shower.
isn't that the worst?
It is. I was just
You
talking
get-
about that in the green room. Yeah.
You get out of the shower and
Yeah.
you're all fresh and clean, and then you feel your tummy gurgling, and you're like,
Yep.
no tummy. And then tummy's like, fuck you, I'm doing it anyways.
Well, there was a meme that I appreciated from the it was the Whedon cut of Justice League. It's that part where Superman's got I think it's Cyborg and Aquaman or something, and then he looks behind him and there's Flash. He's got this like disgruntled look, and they're like the look I get on my face every time I just finished showering and I need to poop right after. I'm like, it's a thing. There you go. So, and then we get into the whole the woods of who stands and who sits when it comes to what here, and then it goes back to the first couple episodes.
Well, I always stand when I take a shower. I don't see how you would take a shower sitting. That would just be
Yeah, I stand to poop. I only sit down to wipe.
Yeah.
So.
that makes sense. The gravity helps.
These are the wow.
Did you guys know that our toilets are actually designed completely wrong for our anatomy as far as pooping goes? Like the best position to poop is actually like your butt down as far as you can with like your knees
Knees up
basically
to your chest.
I've
Yeah.
heard of
basically
that.
up to your chest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they invented the squatty potty.
Which Curtis has in every bathroom in this house.
I do not. My kids have one because they're stupid. and I can say that because even though they know that I have a show, they never watch it. So they're stupid.
I've thought about that before. I don't know if I brought it up on Legends or just to Sean privately, but I'm like, you know what? When we pass on, our kids are going to have all this material to go back and take a look at and remember how dumb their father
Stupid.
was.
Yeah.
They're gonna take this is what you wasted your time on.
Let's
They're
welcome.
gonna be showing their kids and their grandkids. Remember that time when great granddad waffle stomped the poop into the lake? Good times.
You thought your grandpa was weird. Now look at this.
Let's welcome the chat. We got Master Versal Toy Hunter in there, Joe Gonzalez. What's up? JMax77 and David Williams can only stop by for a minute, but thank you, David, for popping in. Make sure you
Nice
check
to
out the
see you for a
replay.
quick minute, David.
Yeah, make sure you check out the replay if nothing else.
That's right.
So, boys, we get anything cool this week? Want to show off?
I'll let Sean start.
Ooh,
I'm
Sean's
nothing. That's why I'm the simplest one of the group right now. Nothing.
That's why I was letting Sean start.
I have to be good, therefore I was good, even though that hurts some days.
The point of the show where we're trying to stretch it out so that Jesse can finish pooping, and Sean's like, "Yeah, I got nothing."
Yep.
Sorry. Next.
So that we could just stare into the camera and go, Jesse, are you done pooping yet? Well, what's going on, Jesse? Let's do this.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me show off some goods then.
I'll unbegin you.
I got
stroke a little bit here, and yeah, there you go.
Cabal Creations coloring book.
Nice.
Dusty Standiford. And a little surprised I didn't know that this was coming, but it was autographed. I got a Walter and Horseman, and yeah, so
Very cool.
and it's just got some cool pictures in there to color. So I'm gonna probably spend some time next week. I got my surgery on Monday, so I'll probably spend some time next week, do some coloring, maybe have my wife and kids do some coloring too. So that's pretty cool.
Very awesome.
Then I had no interest in this character, but everybody was talking about it, so I had to pick one up, and it's the Alf. And it's pretty cool. I mean, like I said, I could have lived without it, but it'll work. I'll fit it into the collection somehow. Probably fudge it into Cosmic or something.
You'd fit perfectly there.
Yeah. And then, thing I was most excited about, I came in third place in the IshCon Pop and Swap contest, and I got, which would have been my first choice. They had some test shots, which are definitely more valuable, but I just wanted to get my hands on one of these. It is the Operative 83.
Nice.
Yeah, the Manny Faces tribute figure, and I just absolutely love this thing. I mean, you guys know I'm a huge fan of the Sentry body anyway, and this is using pretty much all the Sentry body with the exception of the chest plug for the science officer. And then that I love that human head on there with the around the eyes, which I don't know if I'm gonna get it to focus. There we go.
You would love the lamest head.
It looks so good. The other heads were really cool too. The robot head looks really good with the clear dome on it and the details painted underneath. And even the monster vampire or whatever head looks really good. But yeah, this is my look. That when I was playing with Manny Faces as a kid, it was always the human face. And I love the paint job that they did around the eyes and stuff. So super excited to get that. It's way better in hand. I thought it looked great in pictures, but in hand, it's even that much better.
Agreed.
The metallic blue really pops. The whole figure just looks fantastic. And I
completely agree.
One of those things where, like I said, I love that Sentry body. I love putting paint on it myself, but I knew once the Horsemen were able to take that sculpt and start putting some paint on it themselves, it was going to come out fantastic, and it really did. They did not disappoint with that one. So, and it looks like we've got Rick Emmert jumped in, and Joe says that Curtis does win. Yes, I do, but I posed in the Cabal to thank these guys for winning. I won that coloring book, won the Manny Faces, but there's a contest coming up soon from what I hear. Maybe, possibly, I will not win. I guarantee that I will not win this contest coming up, but a lot of other people will. So stay tuned. Some more news to come shortly on a new contest coming up in the Cabal. And then David Williams said Operative 83 had no right to be that good. That is correct. It is.
Yep.
I think it's hands down the best tribute that they've done so far out of all the Motu tributes. So
yeah, that's one that I had to pick up too. He's over on my shelf right now with my Mythics because he's the only Cosmica that I have. I got an opportunity to trade for him. Gave up a figure I had very little interest in and got him, and a complete win. He did come loose, like the original and are already taking him out, and he has the robot head on. I think he'll eventually have the vampire head on, but yeah, they're all so good. I actually need to find some place to use the extra head. I don't know. I guess I just need to buy
it would be cool to
another
have.
operative.
I've heard some people talking about having like eventually having 3 of them with
Yeah.
one with each head. That would be cool.
I could see it. He's amazing.
Yeah, awesome figure. Like, you know, there were 5 prizes in that contest. I came in 3rd, and regardless of what place I finished in, that was going to be my pick. Like that's what I wanted. There were 2 test shots. There was a Scourge and a Demistros, which all of them are more expensive than this figure, but it didn't matter. This is the one that I wanted.
Yeah.
So
I would have grabbed the Scourge just because I really, really want him to, and I already have operative. So
yeah.
And I have Demistros, so
Yeah, I've got a Demistros too. That one would have probably been hard, but this is, like I said, I think this is the best tribute that they've done, and I already had it on pre-order, but it's just nice to get it in hand early. So
for sure. And speaking of that, we got till Sunday for the Cosmic Legions pre-order?
Next Sunday, not this Sunday, but next Sunday.
Oh, that long still? Oh,
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So the 17th?
The 17th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mathed.
And then who knows what the next big thing is that may be coming after that. I'm sure there's something coming along.
Oh, we'd have to do something with the good guy factions and Mythic Legions, wouldn't you think?
I don't know. I just know we have a tendency in this community to do a lot of fun contests, and I just feel like there's a big one coming.
Oh yeah, I'm just talking like what the next Mythic wave.
Yeah,
probably.
yeah. I think they might wait on the waves a little bit. I think I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of a gap, and then who knows? We've gotten a couple years in a row where we've gotten something for Halloween for Figure Obscura.
Yeah.
I know it's not a holiday figure line, but I think that's a good time of year to kind of get one of those. And then we know what we're going to get some stuff at G-Con this year. So yeah, good stuff.
Anyone here?
Did you pull out anything this week? Did you come up with anything?
I do have some stuff. I got lots of videos. Apparently, I'm a VHS collector now. So
nice. All it took was you guys reviewing the VHS stuff, and that was it.
And now I can't stop. So I got a bunch. I'm up to
rabbit hole.
Six volumes now that I picked up. So much cooler than the RCA blank tapes that I had them recording on as kids. So that's been a lot of fun.
As you're buying these, are you do you have a VCR that you're watching them on, or you're just collecting them just to collect them?
Right now, I'm collecting them just to collect them, but I did comment that I do need to go get a VCR, and I'll be really curious how much better they would be for me to view them off of VHS, because even watching the DVDs and now seeing that new Blu-ray remaster that they did out of Germany, it's almost it's like it's too clean. Like my mind, yes, that is how it was animated. You look at the cells, that's how they look. But for me, it's like it's too clean. It doesn't feel as the cleaner it gets, the less He-Man it feels to me with the filmation.
Speaking of clean, here's Jesse fresh off of a shower and a poop.
Nice. Not in that order. Strike that, reverse it.
Yeah, strike it, reverse it.
Yeah.
Simultaneous. What do you guys do?
We stand.
Jesse, we got to say right off the bat, a little disappointed. You didn't bring some Christmas lights to put up behind you in your hotel room.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we'll make it through the show. So
I can leave.
No, that's all right. That's all right. Jesse obviously is joining us from RetroCon. So welcome, Jesse. We were just going through Dooch's pickups for the week. He is now a VHS collector.
Yes. Magic Windows only, though.
What does that mean, Matt? Is that the brand?
So Magic Window. I guess I could embiggen me. Maybe, if I can find my cursor. There it is. So RCA had the license to put out the He-Man videotapes, and there are two versions of every volume. There's the Magic Windows, which are the white clamshells, and then there's the RCA releases, which are the red and black slip covers.
Okay.
But it always has the same picture. Just the Magic Windows are bigger and everything, and I had 3 volumes growing up, which were my prized possessions, and they were all Magic Windows. So,
and is the quality different between the two types, or are they basically the same?
Exact same, just released under 2 separate banners, probably at 2 separate times if I looked into it deeper. But
gotcha.
And then the other thing I got is Meyer did go clearance on all the D&D stuff. So I haven't opened it yet, but I did pick up the gelatinous cube. So yeah, paid $8.50 for them. Perfect price for that.
That's probably $8 too much. But
I've seen the reviews. I think $8 I was good with. I wish I could have picked up an owl bear.
I tell you what,
I got there.
Billy Beige did a review on that one, and it's like one of the most painful reviews that he like. I love watching Billy.
Well, that's because Billy did it.
Oh my god, it's so bad. The only thing worse than that was the who's the little kid for the Dungeons and Dragons line that comes with the little unicorn pony thing, whatever. He was
Presto the unicorn.
He was all excited about the little he was all excited about the little unicorn. I'm like, come on, man, this is trash. All right.
Yeah, that's my pickups.
Anything? Oh, that's it, Dooch. What about you, Jesse? You got anything for this week?
You pick anything up at the hotel lobby?
I picked up a lot of Missing Sleep, and there's more of a kitchen in this hotel room than I have in my apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, one thing that you did get this week was some extra time off going forward. Finished your part-time job, right?
Yes. I stepped back from my part-time job. This was my last official week. I'm sure I'll be in from time to time for like events and stuff, but yes.
So
no
now
longer at the comic shop.
Comic books is just a hobby, not a profession.
I wouldn't say it ever was a profession.
Gotcha.
Sean can attest. He's seen me in there.
Very nice.
Cool. So now, do you think this means that you read less comics now?
That's part of the reason I wanted to stop is because I have so many comics from the last almost year that I've barely read.
Yeah. So
I'm behind on the stuff I have. And I'm not to get into a whole side topic, but yeah, just the whole state of comics. I don't really enjoy a lot of Marvel and DC at the moment. I'm not saying they're bad. They're not hitting me the way I want to. So
yeah,
I've been reading a lot more of the other stuff, like the Image and indie books and everything. So not because I think they're cooler or like it makes me cooler to read those. I just find the stories they're telling me more interesting right now.
Well, we will get into it more later with our Have You Ever, but
that's right.
But Jesse did get me reading, so I got some bones to pick later on. So
me personally, just real quick, like I'm getting to a point where I prefer more picking up either completed trades or like series that have ended and just doing the whole thing more so than trying to keep up with the monthly books. Like it's too much, and you get, in my opinion, you get too little at a time to hold you over for 30 days. So I would rather just let it go to trade if nothing else.
I stopped collecting comic books actively, like, I don't know, several years ago. And I've started back up and stopped again. Like the two big things that get me are, one, I end up wanting to read so many titles that I've got way more stuff than what I can actually read. And then the other thing is that I love so much of the artwork that they put out, like, 10, 15 variant covers and I want to have every single one of them. And next thing you know, I'm just spending buku bucks on stuff that I'm then going to put in a box in the garage. So, yeah, it's just, but so I think I'm with you. If I was going to continue this journey that Jesse has scammed me to go on, I think it would probably be in the form of some sort of graphic novel, collected edition, whatever.
Except for Masters of the Universe. I will always buy every Masters Universe monthly, every single variant cover, because I want to prove as much as I can that there's an audience for them. And if you haven't picked up Forge of Destiny #1 that came out this past Wednesday, highly recommend it. Sean and I did a review on our latest Legends of Grayskull, and it's a really good story.
That would be the first one that they've put out in several years. So
I would say it's definitely the best since Eternity War. It has the potential to top that, depending on where they go with the story. But
I mean, Masterverse was just out last year or earlier this year.
Right. It's better than that.
Yeah. I'm not saying they haven't put stuff out. I'm saying they haven't put stuff out good.
I'm saying it's the best since Eternity War. So it's better than the crossovers. It's better than the prequel Revelation. It's better than Masterverse.
The crossovers with Thundercats and all that other bullshit.
Yeah, Injustice. All that. So.
Beautimous. All right. Are we ready to get into our main topic, or do we want to do this week in theaters first? Your call.
Let's go theaters. I missed it last week.
This week in theaters. Okay. Well, Jesse, I don't think has his wheel because he is remote.
Oh, he does.
I have my digital dice on D&D Beyond.
He's got a digital dice, and then we'll have to go with Dude's crappy wheel.
Then my apologies. I was not ready because I was told that Jesse had a newfangled wheel that he spent more than 2 minutes on. So
his wheel totally shits on your wheel, but we don't have it, so that's all right.
I'm perfectly good with that. So
I couldn't even tell you what wheel I used. I just Googled it on my laptop.
All I know is we could see where the arrow was, so we knew what it actually landed on.
All right, I'm rolling a D20.
Who's with you, Jesse? Or was that your arm? Oh, okay.
There's literally no one in here. It's about to start freaking out. Thanks for making me feel weird to sleep in a hotel.
I don't know. I clicked back to the screen and I saw a little flash of somebody there.
Who's that behind you with the scythe?
Ooh, who's that?
It disappeared, but it was 18.
What was it? Sorry.
What?
What was the number? I was laughing.
What are we talking about?
Nothing.
Your number. What's your number?
18.
18.
18. Oh, I
1-8,
guys. 1-8. Apply. Man, I should restart my modem. My internet is running slow tonight. All right, 18. See, I can see that.
Feel free to turn the sound off next time.
It's not it without the sound. Oh, no. We're going to 80s.
1983.
83. You got it. See, you can see it.
Let me pull it up here.
Is that, wait, it was 84. 84 is the one we've been getting pretty heavily, isn't it? Or was it
we were getting 88 a lot, and then
88.
Yeah, 88.
All right. Here we go. 1983, and we are in September. September 8th.
It's spooky season.
All right.
Hell, it is.
Here's what we got. We got
summer.
We got Mr. Mom, Risky Business, Easy Money, National Lampoon's Vacation. We got Star Wars Episode 6, A Return of the Jedi, Hercules, Flashdance, Trading Places, Staying Alive, and Strange Brew. The others do not make the cut. So we will start at the top of the list, which is Dooch. Dooch, what are you seeing?
I gotta assume that's the Schwarzenegger Hercules.
I don't know what that is. If I had to guess, I would guess Ferrigno, but I don't know.
I think that might be Ferrigno.
Right click and open in a new tab and you can see what it is.
Or just open it right now and then click the back button.
It is. Yep. Lou Ferrigno, Hercules.
Yes.
Never seen that one. Jesus.
He was a good Hercules.
Well,
of course, somebody else did all the talking and they dubbed over him, but you know.
I think they had to do that in Schwarzenegger's too.
Some of the early
two
ones,
versions of that one. Yeah, there's one where a guy dubbed it, and the other one where it's just Schwarzenegger going nuts.
God, so I mean, Mr. Mom, absolute classic. One of Keaton's best works. Vacation's obviously a pull. Jedi. I was going to say, since we're traveling back in time, I was going to skip Jedi because I've seen that in theaters, but I've only seen the special edition in theaters. I've never seen the original cut. So I think that's going to win out here. I got to go see Return of the Jedi.
All right, hold on. I got to see what is Easy Money.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that one. I've never even
Rodney
heard of that.
Dangerfield. To inherit his mother-in-law's colossal fortune, hard-living gambling addict must change his unhealthy ways before they get the best of him. Okay. Sounds like Brewster's Millions, kind of, but
yeah.
Yeah, Rick says Easy Money all day. All right.
Interesting.
All right. So what did you go with, Dooch?
Return of the Jedi. Final answer.
Final answer. Okay. I agree with you about the Mr. Mom, one of Keaton's best. I love him in that movie. I don't know that that's a theater experience I would have to have, though. Risky Business is pretty good. Trading Places is one of my favorite movies of all time. Strange Brew is highly underrated. And I may have to make that a Have You Ever at some point.
Yeah. This is probably the list with the most that I have never seen on it.
Hercules is really good. I got to go with Jedi, though. I mean, how do you not go with Jedi? I mean, that's the first movie I ever remember seeing in the theater. And just, you know, Luke in the all black and like the flip in the air and the lightsaber comes flying at him from R2 and it's green, and who has a green lightsaber? This is crazy. Like,
yep.
I don't know. I mean, as an adult going back, I think I would try to capture that same theater in awe, nostalgic experience that I had as a kid. So I'm going to have to go Jedi. I was trying to pick something else on this list, but I just can't. Sean?
I'd be the guy, if I went to see Jedi, I'd be quoting the movie and they'd kick me out because I already know what's going to happen. Because the thing that would get me, and Jesse's going to completely hate me for this, but I would be the one going, don't worry, in 40 years, the sequels for this are going to suck, and everybody in the theater will look at me like I'm an insane person, and I'll just be like, they're not as good. This is where it ended. It's great. I'm good. Yeah, I don't want to be that guy. So I think I would actually do Trading Places. I love Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd in that one, and it always makes me laugh. It's one of the better I mean, there's a lot of good 80s Eddie Murphy movies anyway, but it's one of the ones that I can always go, yeah, I could definitely watch that anytime and just enjoy.
I think that's the only Eddie Murphy movie I've never seen.
Oh, you've never seen Trading Places? Oh, dude, it's so fucking good. It's like I've got a whole list of holiday movies that I like, you know, obviously, you know, Christmas movies that we all watch, certain movies at Christmas time, but like pretty much every holiday I watch something. St. Patrick's Day, I watch Boondock Saints, and New Year's, I watch Trading Places, like every single year. It's such a good movie, dude. You got to check it out. But good pick, Sean, for sure. I would say if I didn't pick Jedi, that's probably what I would go with. And Jesse.
Well, I'm going to take a half an hour to explain that I'm going to see Star Wars Return of the Jedi.
Go ahead. Take the half hour.
No, that was it. That was it. That was it. That was a half hour for me.
Okay.
No, I mean, Star Wars. I mean, yeah, I agree with Sean. You'd know everything, but getting to like one of my things I do now is I watch a couple people who do like reaction videos, like where they're watching a movie for the first time, like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, the MCU. So like I enjoy that atmosphere of people experiencing stuff for the first time that way. So getting to go back to 84 or 83, whatever this was. Was this 83? Yeah. So this 83. Is what, September? So Star Wars has been out for 4 months. So there's probably a few people who are seeing this on repeat at this point. I mean, look at that.
16 weeks.
Yeah.
Like 232 million. It's blowing every other movie away. And of course, it's Star Wars, but I just think it's interesting seeing that. But just seeing that on the big screen, getting to see it in its original cut, not the special editions, which I do enjoy. But there's something special about the original ones. Before. I don't mind the edits that just enhance some of the scenes, but it's all the stuff they added in that it's like, oh, that was clearly done in 1997 and looks like it doesn't fit here anymore.
Well, another reason I didn't do that though is we did have 1983 hit another time, and I did pick Jedi that time. So that's why
I don't remember Jedi coming up before.
Yeah, because it was you and Jesse that were both like, we're gonna go see Jedi, and I'm like, save me a seat, I'll come in with you, because that was the one. It was one of our first episodes, within the first couple episodes. So that's why tonight I'm like, if I already went back and did it that time, I'm looking at any other options and refreshing it that way. So
I'm wondering if I picked Jedi then, or if I didn't, what would have knocked it out?
I don't remember. But I do remember that we did have Jedi show up one other time, and I'm like, yeah, I'll do it then. But then if it comes up again, I'll be like, whatever other movie then, because I already consider it done in that.
If only we knocked out like certain years after we did it. I just kind of came up with that idea.
That might work.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
Star Wars is going to be the rare exception, I think, where we're going to hit it. I mean, it could be any week. Some things could if we get like 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
But the Star Wars stuff is going to be a pretty rare exception to.
Yeah, like we've got 20 years on the wheel. I just had this idea, like, what if we start eliminating the years as we hit it, and then once we've gone through all the years, then we come back and start over. I don't know. I don't know if that'll work. Like it's kind of a crazy idea.
More work for Gooch. I like it.
Yeah.
So work for you. You took over wheel duties.
Yeah.
I just did it the night you weren't there. You're the button pusher. I just show up.
Either that, or we got to start keeping track of what we pick in certain years. So, but yeah, I think removing them would probably be easier.
Looking at the weeks out. So, Flashdance 21 weeks, still at number 7. So, not too bad. Actually, moved up from 9 the previous week to 7. So after 21 weeks, that's pretty good. Hercules is in week 2 is at 5. Strange Brew was in the second week. It was all the way down to 10 already. Mr. Mom was at week 7, number 1 spot. And Star Wars 16 weeks, holding strong in the top 5. So
cool. If I had to pick a different one, since I picked Jedi, I would probably pick Flashdance because I've never seen it. I haven't seen most of the movies on this list, but
so you haven't seen most of the movies on this list, but although we've talked about the other ones, how great they are, you're going to pick one that none of us talked about being great.
There is a lot of dance, not a lot of flash, I will say.
He likes his dance movies.
He does like his dance. That's true.
It was Saturday afternoon on the local channel, and I watched it, and I'm like, this is not what I thought this was going to be. It was so lame compared to what I thought it was supposed to be.
Yeah, it's Jennifer Beals. Hell yeah, I'm watching Flashdance.
Do you guys?
Jennifer Beals is a great attraction. I'm not going to lie, but the story, I'm like, this is what it is. Like, this is.
Do you guys think that Jesse was a dancer in a previous life?
No, I've
No.
seen him walk around his apartment. I don't think that's no. I love him, but I know he is not a dancer.
His nickname is not Twinkle Toes.
His nickname will not be Twinkle Toes.
I can be surprisingly what's the word, agile
Agile,
out
yeah.
when least expected, but not in a rhythmically choreographed manner or unchoreographed.
And if you would have
Gotcha.
seen that back in the 80s, that would have set the stage for all the Step Up movies, which that automatically now is like in the mythology of Jesse. That makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
how did that not happen? This is insane.
I mean, I was 4 or 5 years old, and
Yeah.
you know, that's not the type of movie I would have wanted to see in 19.
You see Jennifer Beal, so that sets the stage for one thing, and then you start cranking Irene Cara like crazy and jumping through the air in the kitchen. It's like, I want to be there to watch the after effect of you watching that movie. That's what I want to go back in time for. Not worrying about the movies themselves.
Jesse's already brought in it.
Oh yeah.
All
I
right.
mean, it just makes one of the best moments in, you know, Tommy Boy that much better if you've seen the original source material.
We're in the wrong order. I had to move us around. So next we have got a conversation about okay. Next we've got a conversation about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And Sean, I'd like you to kind of start, like, kind of head up, like, where this came from, because you had found a post and you had made you posted a question in the Legendati group, and that kind of turned into what we're doing today. So you want to kind of talk about what you saw first and how this came to be?
All right. So the post that I saw was the shot in Wakanda where it was Infinity War. Thor, Rocket, and Groot all land, and it's like the cavalry moment when Cap and Black Panther and everyone are fighting all of Thanos's what are they called? The aliens that are trying to breach the shield, the Outriders. And the post said that it was the best heroic moment in the MCU movies. And I was like, I'd say it's good, but I wouldn't say it's the best. Like, that just, it was
I believe it's one of the best, but yes.
One of the best. And
yeah,
I would say, yeah, it's one of the best, but it wasn't like, when I think of those movies, that one probably would come in maybe the top 10, but it doesn't, like, that's not an initial knee-jerk, yeah, that's, that's one of the ones I automatically think of. So, yeah, it just went into...
We lost Jesse.
Uh-oh. He'll make his big grand entrance as Thor.
There you go.
There he goes.
This is Jesse coming in to save her. He's the cavalry.
Bring me Thanos. So yeah, it opened up the conversation of what are the moments that we think are the moments, depending on what moments you're talking about. Are they the heroic ones? Are they the heartfelt ones? Are they, whatever. So we want to do a bit of a lightning round to talk about those moments and why we think those are the ones for us.
Yep. So we kind of talked this week and basically said, hey, let's go through and, go with, most, I'm just going to throw something out there. Most scariest moment, most heroic moment, whatever. And then we're just going to give our answers, and we're going to try not to give the same answer as somebody else if we can. But I'm going to turn it over to Dooch, and Dooch is going to give us a topic, an emotion, as it were. And then we're going to tell what scene kind of evoked that emotion in us. So, Dooch, give us an emotion.
Dooch is giving emotions?
Yep. You're the lightning round guy.
This would have been nice to know when we talked about this earlier.
Said this earlier. Did I not, Sean, say this earlier?
He did, but I don't know if Matt understood it that way. So
okay.
I said you're throwing them out there. We're going to answer.
I can't.
I was under the impression Dooch was doing this, and I have no idea what you guys are talking
I can do it if you want. Or you,
Please do, because I did not prepare for throwing them out there at all.
All right, so we'll start with most
sausage.
We'll start with most emotional, sad, whatever emotional moment in the MCU. I'm going to start right next to me with Sean, and then we'll go around.
Oh, I get to do my. Oh, okay, my first choice. So yeah, the one that hits me every damn time is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Yondu's funeral. Between Cat Stevens, I'm sorry, but I went with the one that I know is the one.
That's fine.
That double. And that's why I was hoping not to get this one first, because this is the first one that I automatically boom. But yeah, between just the Star-Lord losing Yondu and the whole he might have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy and all that stuff. And then on top of that, when the Ravagers all show up with the Cat Stevens song playing, and what's the guy's name? The guy that gets the arrow from Yondu?
Kraglin.
Kraglin, yeah. When he starts cheering, and all
that gets me every time. I may be holding it in till then. As soon as that hits, it's
exactly.
Yeah.
The minute he starts cheering and he's emotional, I lose it. Then no matter how much I don't want.
He's lived that Ravager life. He knows how important that moment is, like what that means. So yeah, that's a good one.
Absolutely.
Dooch, most emotional or saddest, whatever. So it's something that
I got
a lot. Yeah,
I got you.
Those are two very different things.
Emotional. Sad.
I got you, Curtis.
Okay. Yes, he seemed confused.
For me, it goes back to the biggest gut punch chronologically for me in the MCU, and that was in the first Avengers when Loki kills Coulson. Just didn't see it coming. I was looking forward. I still love Coulson, and I can't think of the actor's name right now because why would I be able to now? But he was great in the MCU. And I think at that time I also knew that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was coming out, so I was really confused and hurt. And it was like, he's a character that I wanted to see go on. And but shit happens.
The thing that I like about that one is it's not just a senseless, meaningless death. Like we've seen some, like we talked about the Secret Invasion not too long ago, and Maria Hill just kind of dies for no reason. Like Coulson dies, and that's like the thing that solidifies the whole team. Like they all of a sudden, like they were at each other's throats and stuff, and next thing you know. The
bloody Captain America card, trading card, and just Chris Evans' face in that when he's like, I was a dick to him last night, it's just, it was very emotional, and probably the best one, and it galvanized the team.
And his real name is Clark Gregg.
Yes, thank you.
Remember it. I figured to help you out there.
All right, Jesse, whatever moment you want to say.
I'm going to say not emotional sad, but I think it was the moment that had the most weight, the most impact on me at the theater was 5 years later. At the beginning of Endgame, when they kill Thanos, and it's completely meaningless, and then it just goes to black, and it just says 5 years later.
Yeah, because we didn't know that time jump was coming, and it just
same
thing. I expected everything to take place right away, and then they're like, nope.
It just it was just like, it just felt like a sucker punch. Like you already knew so many people had been dusted going into at the end of the Infinity War, the beginning, watching Hawkeye's whole family disappear around him. Yeah. And all that. And then just to jump to like, okay, it's 5 years. They've been living without all these other people that you've just spent the last almost 10 years getting to know and love.
Yep.
and now we're jumping forward to who these people are now, and it's interesting. I don't think they've fully paid off that concept.
Nope.
No.
Of the return. Like they've done a couple things, but that's getting into some other things. But I just thought that black screen that 5 years later, I was really annoyed at the theater because it was opening night and there were people like narrating what was going on the screen, like, oh, that's Hawkeye. Oh, that's so. It's like, yeah, you're an Avengers movie. Like, you don't know who these people are. Like, and it wasn't like some like little kid. These were like grown ass adults, and everybody was like, oh, every time something happened on screen, like, not in the fun way, but that moment, just like the silence and the reaction to that on screen was just, was very, very emotional.
I agreed.
And there's a lot of other ones that get emotional about a lot of things, but that one is the one that comes out to me as the strongest.
Okay. Curtis, do you have a most emotional moment that you'd like to share with us?
Well, I can give you my second one because Sean took my most.
Sorry.
But the second one, and I think you kind of nailed it when you said kind of gut punch. I think the gut punch one for me was in Civil War, the look on Tony's face when he realizes that not only did Winter Soldier kill his parents, but the Cap knew about it. And
true.
That just look of betrayal and just it's like in that moment. I mean, his parents have been dead for a long time. It's not like, it's, Bucky killing him or being mind controlled. I don't think at that moment upset him or wrecked him as much as Cap keeping it from him. Like that's the part that was like, how could you,
Yep. Agreed.
So that one was that was a rough one.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and Joe throws out there in the OG Cat movie, Peggy's reaction to the comms going quiet at the end. So, I can definitely agree with that as well.
My second moment, if Curtis took that first moment, because I feel he went before me, I would have had to have the backup. For me, along with that is when Cap wakes up and he's running along Times Square, and that moment where Fury catches him, and then he's like, "What's wrong, Cap?" He's like, "I had a date," and it just cuts. Like that was, like you guys said, sucker punch to the gut. Like I hurt for him through all those movies until Endgame finished, because that was just like, man, at least he did get laid at least during the USO tour, according to She-Hulk, but still, it was not Peggy. So yeah,
I knew it.
Captain America.
Did Curtis mute himself?
I think he muted himself. Yeah.
Or he unplugged his mic. It's not showing as muted.
Oh shit! I did mute myself.
There it is.
I was opening up a pack of tissues. I was saying that I don't believe that She-Hulk was a reliable source. I think that Cap was a virgin until he went back in time. So, okay, next we'll go with badass moment. The moment that just kicked the most ass, and you were just like, fuck yeah, like you're excited, like you were ready to get on the screen and fight with him. And I will start with Jesse, and we will go backwards this time.
Like we have to talk backwards?
Yes.
There's one I want to say. I feel it's a little too easy. No.
How about it?
So I'm going with the one because they're almost the same moment. So I'm gonna go with in Age of Ultron, because that movie doesn't get enough love, in my opinion. When they're all debating about what they're going to do, Vision has been created, and then you just see him twirl the hammer, like hand it to Thor, like we got to go or whatever, and just everybody's reaction to that, I think, like in the characters in the movie, like it's not like a loud moment in the movie, like everybody's just kind of like what, and that moment just really stands out to me as like hell yeah, Vision's worthy. Okay, I'm in. I trust him.
So that fires you up.
Yeah.
Cool. Dooch?
It's the one that popped right into my head when you said most badass moment that gets you fired up. So I'm rolling with it. The opening to Thor Ragnarok, where he's fighting Surtur, and that heavy metal soundtrack, which is a departure from what we got in the first two Thor movies. And it's one, I won't say I hated Thor in the Dark World, but they definitely influenced me not checking out Ragnarok right away. And then once I did, and after that first scene, I'm like, all right, I'm fucking in. Like, let's go.
I don't think you can call Led Zeppelin heavy metal. Just gotta point that out.
Wow. Actually, dude,
he loves ACDC.
Well, actually,
yeah.
Heavy metal is defined as Legion's Con, baby, Legion's Con.
First of all, I will just admit that I am I love Ragnarok. It's my favorite movie. Like not just my favorite Marvel movie. It's my favorite movie. So take this with a grain of salt. But I think that opening is the best opening that they've had to a movie. And the only ones I think come close are the Guardians of the Galaxy openings. I think especially the first two, their openings were really good. With just combining music and what you're seeing and like getting you amped up, like as soon as you're like, fuck yeah, like let's watch the rest of this movie. I'm ready to
Absolutely.
go. So yeah, I can see what you're saying there. And just like you said, the Thor Dark World is such a different take on that character. So you start with him in the cell and he's talking with the skeleton, and then he falls down and he's like, basically like ripping on Surtur, and then hold on, and he's spinning around. It's like this comedic thing, and then all of a sudden it's like, now we're gonna kick ass, So yeah, I'm with you on that one. Cool. Sean?
I think Jesse's probably going to go, yeah, I saw this one from a mile away, but I'm going to do it anyway. Thanos has Thor on the ropes. He's about to push Stormbringer in through his chest, and then out of nowhere, we see that hammer getting lifted, and that hammer smashes Thanos from behind, and Cap brings it back. And that moment for me was so cathartic, because through all of the movie, through Infinity War and Endgame, it felt like Thanos was somebody that every time you tried to fight him, he would always find a way to one-up you, and just whatever you did meant nothing, and he could just swat you away like a fly. And out of nowhere, he Cap's like, bring it. And I love that the minute he gets he gets Mjolnir, he just goes for it. And he's got the lightning strikes, and he's comboing it with the shield. And the minute they started, I'm getting chills even remembering it, because I was like, I literally was in the theater. I felt like I was watching a boxing match that meant the world to me. And I was like swinging my own arms, because it was so cool to see Thanos finally getting punched and hit, and he actually looked like, oh, this is not good. There are moments on his face where it's like, like he did not see this coming, and Cap just kept coming at him with it. And it was one of my, I think even more than the Portals moment, that might have been one of my absolute favorite moments of that movie.
Okay, so I want to talk about that moment for a second, because I couple things. Number one, I think that is back when Marvel was doing a much better job of integrating all of their movies together and making sure that, there were not, these strings that were left dangling that didn't connect. You didn't have like the Eternals where the guy comes out of the top of the earth, and then next thing you know, we don't hear about it again for 2 years. It was like everything was connected. So to see in Age of Ultron, Cap try to lift that hammer, and it kind of moves just a little bit, and you see like this look on Thor's face, like he's kind of nervous,
Yeah.
And then in my mind, the reason why Cap couldn't lift it at that time is because he was carrying that burden of, keeping things from the team, like what he was keeping from Tony. And once he let loose of that burden and was, I think that's what made him heroic enough that he could lift the hammer at the end. So that's my own personal take. But I just appreciate how the synergy of those first few waves of the MCU, how they just built things along. So when you see him with the hammer, it's not completely out of place to where you're like, what the hell is this? Like, it was one of those where you're like, yes, I thought that might happen, kind of thing. So,
well, because that's what Thor says as soon as you realize, he's like, I knew it. Yeah. And I think the writers have said that and again, it's their take on it. And I like this, is that like Cap didn't want to embarrass Thor. Mm-hmm. Like he could have picked it up fully, but he just did that little bit just to let Thor have his moment. But I like the idea. But the one thing I will say about Tony Cap knowing about Tony, he knew that his parents were assassinated, even though Bucky was the one that did it.
I don't know that he didn't. I don't know the way that
because he says I didn't know it was him.
Oh, gotcha.
In Civil War.
Gotcha.
Because he saw it, I was like, where did that come up? And it's a brief flash during Winter Soldier when he and Black Widow are in the Hydra base. It like flashes up like Stark, it's like a quick thing on there. Like I had to have someone point that out to me.
See, I think that he knew from that moment that the Winter Soldier killed his parents. He just didn't know that the Winter Soldier necessarily was Bucky until later on.
Yeah. Well, but he didn't know it was him. Didn't know it was Bucky.
Right. But by the time Tony finds out, Cap already knew.
Yes.
So, but I appreciate what you're saying with the writers and this and that. But in my mind, it's always going to be he wasn't worthy.
No, that's
because he also went through some shit at the end of Civil War. And, kind of had to reinvent himself, and he gave up the shield, and he had to start over and become like, he was kind of handed that leadership position early on, whereas later on in like Infinity War and Endgame, he actually earned that position, in my opinion. So I think he was close to being worthy at the time of Age of Ultron to lift the hammer, but not quite there. But different takes. For me, badass moment, I would like to take a moment from Ragnarok and say, like, when he's coming down and after he loses his eye and all this and that. But I forgot to say the elevator scene in Winter Soldier, like Cap taking first of all, cool. Him recognizing that all these guys, like, there's something going on, like they're, like he knows it. And then he asks if anybody wants to get out first.
Yeah.
And then just whooping their asses. And then once he gets done whooping their asses, like jumps out of the elevator, like down however many floors and just lands on his shield. Mm-hmm. Like that is out of, like, you talk about the biggest badasses. That is a badass moment right there. That guy murdered those guys. He like kicked the shit out of them, and I was just like, yes, this is fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
So. I want to make an amendment to mine.
Okay.
Not badass, I want to fight with you kind of bit, but badass in, this is a character with no powers. Not exceptionally good at fighting, but just you're gonna hate me, and this is kind of a joke, but I do love this. When Pepper in the first Iron Man movie basically kicks out his one night stand and says, like, I helped Stark with a lot of things, including taking out the garbage. Like, that is just one of the coldest, hardest lines in all of Marvel, in my opinion. Like, it's just like, oh yeah, I like her. Like, that was awesome.
Nice. Okay.
I got to say a quick shout out to, looks like Anthony and Len. I don't know who else are hanging out from the Wolf King crew watching, but hey guys, sorry I ditched pizza.
Don't Don't worry, you're getting a slice of something tomorrow morning from Anthony.
Okay. Next one is a little bit different. I'm gonna do a different one on this one.
Real quick here.
ahead.
Get Joe. Joe had the Incredible Hulk smash moment. So, thank you, Joe, for participating. And
All
Len
right.
says that his most badass moment was lean. I don't know what lean is. So,
All right, we're gonna go underrated character that you would like to see a lot more of. Okay,
like a lot more like
you would like to see in more
clothing
movies.
wise or
No, whatever. Hey, however you want. Underrated character you feel like doesn't get the love they should, and you would like to see more of them in the MCU. I'm gonna start with Dooch,
Of course,
and we'll move to Jesse and go around that way.
Underrated.
Well, Matt's thinking, I'm coming for you, Cookie. I'm gonna get you. Get that pizza back.
I don't know if he's necessarily underrated, but whatever. It's my answer. And it probably stems from the fact that I can't have Coulson anymore. I'd like to see more Jimmy Woo. I'd like to see him step up. Again, love the actor. Can't think of his name because whenever I'm on the spot, I can't. But and what we've seen of him is really nice. I like his character, and I want him to step up and be the new Coulson. Because I like, we talked before in our last MCU talk, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was a great idea and concept. It just kind of got off the rails.
Mhm.
Like, I'd like to see, something similar to that. So.
Anthony said half of your audience is in one room.
Hit that like button.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Go down to Jesse's room. You can be on camera.
I don't care what you guys got.
I'm over a half hour away from them.
Oh, gotcha. All right, Jesse, underrated character that you'd like to see more of.
Captain Carter. And I'm talking the what if version of her, not that crappy version we got in Multiverse of Madness. That is not the same Peggy Carter.
Oh, I thought maybe you wanted them to Darth Mauler and put her, like, have her robot legs on the bottom half of her body and bring her back.
No. Why would no? I absolutely love Peggy Carter. I think she's one of the best parts of the MCU in general. Haley Atwell's amazing in that role. I really like everything about her, and I really love the way they did that story in What If. And would like to see like a real, actual, like heroic serving the character justice. In live action would be great.
Okay. So for mine, I don't know how they would do it because they kind of went from like when they started out, it was kind of Earth based. Everything was like local stuff and arms and everything, and then everything went into space, and now it's freaking crazy and stuff. But one character that I feel like is way underutilized, and I would have liked to see him more than just one movie, is Justin Hammer. I loved him in Iron Man 2. I feel like he made that film much better than what it should be. And Sam Rockwell's amazing anyway, but his delivery and all that, and like you're talking before Congress and everything, the whole thing I thought was great. So, if they, maybe in Armor Wars, I haven't heard who's going to be the cast in there, but if they brought him in, that I think would be good. Or anything else where you could, bring Justin Hammer back, I think would be excellent.
I'll get behind that.
Sean?
I'm gonna go with Kate Bishop. She was on the Hawkeye TV show, and she was a standout for me on that show. She did a really good job of being in the action, looking very capable, and fairly able to take care of herself. But then she also pulled off some of the really nice moments. Like, I still love that scene when Hawkeye's family calls him and he can't hear her, and she's writing down what his son's saying to him so he could still talk. It's like, if that wasn't a bonding moment between those two characters, I don't know what is. And it's just, I'm looking forward to her showing up sometime again, because I really love the dynamic with her and Hawkeye. But in general, she's also a really, really fun character.
Cool. All right, next one.
We've got.
We have any comments we need to pull up?
Converu said Shang-Chi, since he has only been in one movie.
Gotcha.
Shang-Chi's freaking awesome.
Joe says Baron Zemo. Easily.
Oh yeah, that's another good one.
And Anthony said no one has said U.S. agent.
That's because Steven's not here. He would have said it for sure.
I do want to see more. I was trying to think of somebody less used. The same reason I didn't go Kate Bishop. Sean, no offense, but like, she had a whole series, so that's why. She is a great character, though. I absolutely want to see what's coming up with her.
All right. So throughout the movies and TV shows and everything, we've seen sometimes where heroes have to fight other heroes. What is your favorite hero versus hero battle in the MCU? And it could be, it could be something where, I know in Civil War, we got the group versus the group, but you also had individuals fighting each other. So who's the one-on-one that you enjoyed the most throughout the movies? We'll start with Sean. We'll work our way around.
Let's see. The first one that came to my head, so I'll go with that, is the Cap Bucky Tony fight in Civil War. It was ferocious at moments. I mean, that was one fight where, when at the end of it, when Cap's raising his shield, even I was like, oh shit, you're in the heat of the moment with them, and you're honestly going, this might end horribly. And obviously it didn't, but it was one of the few times where I'm watching a fight between heroes and knowing, yes, this might be a loose adaptation of Civil War, but look at where Civil War went in that comic book. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, and at the end, I love how when Tony loses, it's the whole, that's not your shield, that's my father's shield. It's like, it's so like a kid wanting, I want to take my stuff and go home now because you made me proud of you, and on top of all of that. But I mean, they recreated that epic cover with Cap holding the shield up while Tony's shooting the repulsors at him. And I mean, that's just like the most knockdown, drag out hero fight I can think of, for my money at least.
Cookie, I'm pretty sure Wonder Woman's never been in the MCU. So we're gonna,
depending on which country you're in, all superhero movies are in the MCU.
All right, Dooch, what you got?
Would She-Hulk and Daredevil, would that count as fighting? It might have gotten a little rough in there.
I don't think that counts as a fight.
Oh.
They had a fight. She threw a car at him, remember?
Oh,
yeah, she did. Yeah. All night long. But no, my serious answer is the Spider-Man Bucky fight during Civil War.
That was a good one too.
Yeah, number one, just Spider-Man back for the first time, and then just the banter and everything. Has anyone ever figured out why Anthony hates me so much?
He's just angry. I don't know why he hates me, but he hated me from the get-go.
That's probably why, because I'm associated with you. So
maybe
you just have a very hateable look and face. So.
I guess, but usually I have to spend more time with somebody.
No,
but yeah, Spider-Man Bucky is just it was a great fight, and then Spider-Man's classic banter, of course.
And that you're talking about the one like with Falcon too, right? Like Spider-Man versus the two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were going through it. Oh, you have a metal arm. Like, he's asking all
the
questions about it.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Just, I mean, Tom Holland did a good job in that scene of just acting like a kid who got invited to this superhero fight.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
yep.
Yeah.
Thinking he belongs there.
Right.
Like believing that Iron Man convinced him that he belongs.
Right.
Yeah.
But also really believe it, like knowing he's here to help, but not that these are like bad guys. You know what I mean? Like he's just having fun, and he's not as tied emotionally to it and everything. So,
all right, Jesse, are you going to go with? We've got 2 Civil War things so far. Are you going Civil War or something else?
No, I was gonna do the Falcon, Bucky, Spider-Man fight, and I would have remembered to say all 3 of their names, just because the quips and the way it ends with like when he's like, "I hate you," when they're just laying on the floor at the airport terminal.
That's really like the start of Falcon and Winter Soldier too. Like their relationship, which is cool.
That whole thing, and just sidebar, but like the whole thing with like them in the car with Cap, and like, can you move up? No, and they both like smile and nod when they kiss the share. Like, just I love the dynamic between those 2.
Yeah,
I'd say my favorite hero fight. It's not full knockdown drag out. Well, it kind of is in the first Avengers when Thor shows up for the first time, and Iron Man and Thor are going at it, and then Cap comes in, and the way the shield just kind of levels the whole forest, and he's like, "Why do you put the hammer down?" No, he really likes the hammer.
Yeah.
Does mother know you stole her drapes?
Yeah. What am I looking at here? Oh, it looks like Shakespeare in the Park. Yeah, like that whole bit. I just really liked because it starts off with what is it? Thor and Loki are talking to each other on the mountainside, and he's like, "I need you to listen," or something like that, and like Iron Man just like scoops him up, and and Loki's like, "I'm waiting."
So to follow the kind of last couple in a row, we've had these like fights with quippy jokes and whatever. I am going to go with another thing from Iron Man 2. And I'm going to go with the War Machine versus Iron Man fight. When he's drunk at the party, and he asked the DJ to put on a sick beat for him to beat his buddy's ass to, and they just like tear through the mansion, just fighting each other, being stupid, while Tony's just drunk off his ass.
And just after Tony peed in the outfit on top of that,
yeah, and then Fury talking to him afterwards about his buddy beating his ass and taking his suit. Yeah, that's mine. Okay.
The reason the Daredevil hallway scene doesn't count, and maybe because Anthony wasn't paying attention, is because it's hero versus hero. I don't know. The Daredevil hallway scene is just an awesome action sequence, but he's not fighting another hero.
We could have gone Daredevil versus Punisher, which is another good fight, but depends on your definition of if you call Punisher a hero or not.
Technically, yes.
And welcome to the Comic Binge. Actually, we had asked Sean to reach out to you about coming on, Paul, and apparently he didn't. So go get Sean.
Boy, what the?
We'll go
Anthony's pissed at me. Someone's got to be pissed at you.
You got to deal with the house seal. Yeah. All right, I'll take it. Paul's
Joe, what did I get?
We got a distance. It's okay.
All right, got 2 more.
Hang on, real quick here. Joe threw out a good one.
That was a good moment.
Steve chopping wood at the Hawkeye farmhouse. Verbal, but it's saying things. I like that. So
don't take from my pile.
I still like the meme of that.
Piles?
Well,
no, when
with anybody seen Groot and they just have that shot of all of the wood they just chopped up.
All right.
Yeah, that's great. When my pick. Oh.
He's agreeing with you. He likes your pick.
I thought he meant like photo. I'm like, what photo?
Oh, that's the one I shared on our OnlyFans site. So you have to check that out.
All right. Next one. We got 2 more. Cringiest moment in all of the MCU. We are going to start with Jesse. Moment that you saw and you're like, ooh, I wish they didn't do that.
Thor: Love and Thunder.
just the movie, huh?
Just pretty much the whole movie.
All right.
I'll pick the one thing in that and it's such a minor detail, but it feels so tone deaf and stupid in face of everything that MCU is. And granted, I know they're comic book movies, they're fun, whatever. But the whole Infinity Cones amusement park scene of the new Asgard, I thought, I hated that they turned New Asgard into like a Disney tourist trap. It just felt so like if it was a thing that, because they kind of do that in because you have when they're in the comics, when the Asgard is over the one town in Nevada or New Mexico or whatever, like Asgard's just floating over this little country town. Like there's people that come and it does become like a tourist thing, but it's the people on Earth that make it like a tourist thing, not the people of Asgard just making money off of their own self. Like I don't know, but specifically the Infinity Cones, the Gauntlet. It's like, okay, let's make a joke out of the thing that like wiped out half of the entire universe, and because you can get a pun out of it. And I love puns, but that was stupid. Hated it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you were talking earlier about kind of that heartbreaking, like 5 years later, the screen glows black, and all these people are gone, and then even through Falcon and Winter Soldier, we saw like after everybody came back, like that created its own set of problems and everything, to where the world's dealing with all this shit. So yeah, to do a like play on that, and to make it a joke in that way with an ice cream place, yeah, it seemed a little out of place. So I get it.
Like if that was something Justin Hammer had been behind, 100% would have been on board with that. Like that's the kind of shit he would do. Is like, oh, how can we make money off of half of the universe getting wiped out? Like that feels like a Justin Hammer or a character like that. But yeah, I hated that.
Okay. Dooch, cringiest moment in all of the MCU.
Jesse's gonna hate me, but
why does everybody say that?
Falcon's or Captain America's end speech in the finale.
I do hate you.
And the Winter Soldier. I sit in there the whole time, just like, come on, like it's not good, and I feel like we've hammered Jesse into the ground over this already, so I'll just leave it there. Sean, what you got?
Before you turn it to Sean, I just want to say I appreciate that you said that, so I didn't have to get on that, and that I'm with you 1,000%. But go ahead, Sean.
So for me, it would be in the first Avengers, Cap's suit. I hate that costume. It is so everything before that for him and after. It is like, I love that movie, and it ruins me watching that movie because he's one of my favorite Avengers. I'm a big fan of Cap in general, and it just looks so weird. And like also the whole thing of, oh, Coulson had a hand in helping. I'm just like, so did you have a wet dream when you were helping? Because this is not helping Steve look heroic. It really did not work for me. So yeah, every time I watch that movie, it just makes me go like, God, I wish they would have put the freaking the Winter Soldier Cap suit on him or something, anything but what they gave him in that movie. It is America's ass. Yes.
Okay, so we didn't go into detail, honor you, but I don't want to speak for Dooch. I'll speak for myself, and then Dooch can say, I don't think the speech was bad. I don't know if Dooch thinks the speech is bad or not. The timing of the speech is fucking terrible. The fact that this fight just ended and there's carnage all over the fucking street, and you stop to tell the world why they need to stop doing terrible things and being mean to one another is so just like, the timing is so out of place and just stupid that it feels forced and dumb.
Yeah, and you've got all those like senators there and news group, but like it was just like an active superhero fight a second ago, and he's like literally like grabs a soapbox, stands up there, grabs a mic, and is like it's
if
just
2 weeks later
you remember that scene so wrong.
If 2 weeks later
so
they're giving him a key to the city and he makes that speech, no problem. Have at it. But it's just, it's fucking terrible. So
I'm not sure which. Paul, are you talking about Sean's or are you ragging on me with everybody else? I'm not sure. I think he might be disagreeing with you, Sean.
No, he's saying it's straight comic to screen. It still doesn't work for me because there's been how many iterations of the costume, even in the comics, and that one for me was if they did the pirate boots version with the chainmail and all that would have been at least something, but it always underwhelmed his character, his look of his character for me in the end of that movie. The others all seem to fit. He's the one that doesn't feel it. Sorry.
And welcome to Kevin Dufresne, but I think Kevin's watching from the beginning because his comments so far about D&D and reading comics. So welcome, Kevin. In an hour and 21 minutes, you will see where we were when you jumped on.
All right. This is probably going to have Jesse hate me for this one. Just say this.
Just say it. You don't have to preface.
Is this his final?
We're all going to say that.
You guys are just building this towards something.
I will say real quick before you go, all you people in the chat are disagreeing with us, but you're not putting any of your own out there. So
exactly.
Put up or shut
up. In Endgame, the whole women grouping up together to like just making a show of hey, we're joining together as women to fight these guys and we're badass. It was just so fucking stupid and forced and terrible. Like you see as Cap like calls everybody and they all come through the portals and shit. There's like fucking people everywhere. There's bad guys everywhere. There's good guys everywhere. There's fucking people everywhere. And somehow these women all like get together and like they're like female power and we're gonna kick some butt. And it's just so fucking terrible. It's just it's so bad.
Yeah. And then they started pillow fighting.
Yeah, it's
that's how it went in my head. Sorry,
I had to channel my inner Bashadi there for a second, but it was just I see what they were trying to do, and they've created some great female characters in the MCU, but you just throwing them together like that and making a scene of it, like it was just terrible. So, Jesse,
I don't hate you for not liking that moment.
Okay.
I don't. It doesn't bother me. It's definitely a forced moment, but it doesn't bother me.
Okay.
And Joe did throw one out there. I found it now, Joe. Sorry, and all the vulgarity towards myself, I missed it. He says Icarus and how the Eternals ended. I haven't seen Eternals yet. It's on my list of I probably should watch it, but I haven't, so I can't agree or disagree.
Also,
Rick says, forced relationship between Natasha and Bruce. I could see that they did not seem like they had great chemistry. So,
and Kevin has just realized that he's not live. So.
Gotcha. and then I'll be quirky
right after that.
Okay.
Yes, agreed. If we knew that was an option, Anthony, we would have made Jesse go with you guys and partake in whatever.
Look, I was not going over to Anthony's house. The stinky, sweaty, swamp ass of a mess I was.
I like
stinky.
We still have Jesse's Have You Ever, which I think he's looking forward to. All right, last one. We're gonna start with Jesse and go around. Most surprising moment in the MCU, a moment that you saw and you were like, holy shit. And it just like really, you did not see it coming.
Well, Jesse's thinking, Paul says Eternals is underrated and Anru tells me not to waste my time. So definitely a divided camp there. And Joe says you would have fit into him just fine, or would have fit in just fine.
Whoa.
You would have fit somewhere, Jesse.
Wow. Okay.
Man,
If you need to pass,
I can go
back
if you want to keep.
Yeah, come back to me.
This one was actually an easy one for me because I remember getting out of the theater and messaging Sean because I was like, "Oh my god, they fucking did it!" And that is the end of Spider-Man: No Way Home, when they actually got Peter Parker to the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man that I have always loved.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always not that I necessarily hated the MCU Spider-Man, but it was always my biggest complaint was like, he's not really Spider-Man to me. He's had too much help. He's got all this technology. He's got, the mentor. And it's like, and I'm sitting there like, they're never going to do the Spider-Man that I want to see. And then they finish No Way Home. And I'm like, motherfuckers, that end scene where he swings out with the classic-esque suit, he made himself. He's on his own now, down on his luck. Like, fuck, they did it. And I really didn't think they ever would have, so.
Okay. Jesse.
Yeah, I'll come back.
Okay, Sean.
It would have. What?
Oh, I thought you said come back.
No. I was going to say, Comic Binge mentioned it, and I would have gotten there eventually. But yeah, the way they did Aunt May being the Uncle Ben in No Way Home, I was not expecting that. I thought that she's the one that did the great power, and I'm totally going to just Comic Book just comment there. But yeah, I think that moment, I thought that was because I was waiting for them to do the flashback of Uncle Ben doing it, and they never did. And I thought that was interesting storytelling that we didn't get that flashback. It wasn't just the same Uncle Ben moment. So the fact that it came from her, and because she got involved with what was going on with him in that moment, I thought just made it all the more powerful. So yeah, that was surprising.
Okay, John.
This will be the Spider-Man trifecta then. For me, there was no guarantee that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were going to be in No Way Home.
Yeah.
Like when I went to go see it, I took my kids, and I kept going, maybe, and I was like holding out hope and all that stuff. And the minute that Tobey Maguire walked through the portal, I was sitting there going, they did it. And then Andrew Garfield, they did it. And the other thing too, the fact that they brought Andrew back and then he gets to do this that he couldn't do for Gwen. I mean, fuck, that would have also been up there for the emotional moments for me, at least. That's like top 3, because that moment in particular was like, I rewatched the second Amazing Spider-Man before I took the kids to see No Way Home. And I forgot how well done that scene is when Gwen dies. It's like every time you see it, you're like, no, he's going to save her. And then you just hear that snap and you're like, fuck, every time. So all of that, it was, I walked out of that theater going like, I cannot believe they pulled that off. And it was such a well-kept secret and nobody spoiled it for me somehow. That was amazing.
Cool.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, sorry, man. Spectacular.
All right. I am going to go with, so at the time I was really into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This is before they, went off the rails and it became shit. And Winter Soldier, them revealing that Hydra had infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. and was basically in S.H.I.E.L.D. the whole time fucking blew my mind. Like I did not see that coming. And so when that happened, it was like, I'm sitting there in the movie thinking, what are they going to do with the fucking show? Like, how is this going to, like, are they disbanding S.H.I.E.L.D.? Like, what's going on? And just like thinking how that was going to change everything that was going on at the time. That one took me by surprise. So I would say that's the biggest one for me. It was just, finding out that they'd been there the whole time. So. Cool. That was everything that I had. Did you guys have any others or any closing thoughts on anything? Anything else that any moments that we didn't cover that you wanted to bring up?
Do you want to do just like, can anyone just say their favorite? Or
Sure.
Did we already do favorite moment?
We didn't do favorite. We did all kinds of other weird stuff. So
Okay.
yeah, sure. Favorite.
Okay.
Go ahead. You start.
Hate Me Only One, but the end of Endgame when the camera just pans up on that street back in 45 or whatever it is, and Peggy and Steve are just dancing in the living room. That is my favorite moment in the MCU.
Oh boy. Okay. All right.
I get it.
I'm happy that you enjoy that moment. Dude,
Okay.
favorite moment, MCU.
All of the MCU. I mean, I think it's got to go to the moment where, you know, how broad you want it to be, but he just the end fight of Endgame, all the heroes opening up the portals and, you know, on your left and all of that. Like, that's just where my mind goes. You want to go to, like, I mean, it's just the culmination of a decade of movies at that point, and, you know, it just seeing everybody on the screen coming through the portals, you know, and you know, you go back to when the X-Men movies were coming out and the first Spider-Man movie, and you're like, you never thought that we'd get here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I gotta go that just on principle.
Okay.
They made X-Men movies?
Yes. Well, don't worry, we'll get there.
Sean, favorite moment.
Opening day, first Avengers movie, first showing of the day. My wife took the day off work because she was excited to see this movie with me.
Wow.
And the moment that both of us just were like kids again was the rotating shot of the entire team forming together. And you saw that right there, broad daylight. There's the Avengers for the first time on the screen that way. I to this day, I was like, that was Christmas for me. Like, I had no idea I would be this invested in the Avengers because I was always an X-Men guy growing up and stuff. But just that simple shot and it being so iconic the way it is now, it's like that one every time, even though it's got that Cap suit that I hate in it, I still love that first, here they are together. And then on top of that, you just get that, and Hulk smash right after that, and Hulk smiling, and he just goes off, and he's the hero. Like, that's the first time you get to see the Hulk become a hero. That was also pretty sweet. So yeah, just that moment in particular, I don't think I'll ever watch that scene and not be as happy as I was to go, even my fiance thinks this is amazing right now. This is so cool. Because she got me on that day. She got it. She was just as pumped.
Cool. I'm going to bring this whole thing full circle, Sean. I'm going to bring it right back to what you started with at the very beginning. Okay. And I'm gonna hit it with Thor coming down in Infinity War as the reinforcements.
There you go.
I think, like, I've talked about Ragnarok. I think is it's my favorite movie, and then, you know, dealing with the aftermath of Ragnarok and in Infinity War, in Infinity War, where he is talking to Rocket about all that he's lost and just the emotion of that weighing on him about all the people in his life that he's lost. And then channeling the power of that star to create Stormbreaker and everything that he, you know, and knowing that it could kill him. And then to end up showing up there in Wakanda, and he is just looking for Thanos. He doesn't care how many fucking stones he has. He's going to take his ass out, and like nobody's going to get in his way. And so for me, just the, you know, everything that led up to his whole storyline leading up to that, and losing his dad and his mom and his brother and half of his planet and half of his people, and yeah, to you know, have that moment where he's coming down and he's just ready to fucking tear Thanos apart regardless of Infinity Stones. That's my moment. So
I like how you brought it full circle. Very well done. Well played. Well played.
Thank you very much,
You
sir.
could say that was a well-rounded conversation.
Yeah, that was that circle moment like I was talking about. There you go.
All right.
I got to bring up Len's favorite moment is when I love that moment. Some motherfuckers just got to skate uphill.
Yeah. True. It's true. And, you know, we do have to give Blade a little bit of credit, because if it were not for the Blade movies, MCU would not be here. So, so good job, Wesley. You did some great things before you went to jail.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next, we have You Ever? And last week was Jesse's turn. And Jesse tasked us with reading. Jesse, you want to kind of remind us where we're at with this?
Well, you're reading, so you're welcome. You're enjoying it, so you're also welcome. The written word, whether it's in prose or comic book form or graphic novel or whatever other way you get it, is a wonderful thing. So I'm happy that you're reading more. I was going to be mean and pick one that you would have hated, and I chose not to, but I chose one by the same creative team.
Okay.
No, different writer. Jamie S. Rich was the writer on the one I was going to recommend. But Joel Jones did the artwork. And that was, is it Cullen Bunn, I think,
Cullen
wrote
Bunn.
Helheim?
Yeah.
Cullen Bunn wrote Helheim, and Joel Jones is the artist on it. It's a kind of Nordic Viking kind of era horror story of sorts, like action horror story.
Okay.
And yeah.
So did everybody read it? I know none of us had read it besides Jesse beforehand. Dude, Sean, did you guys? I know I ended up reading it, but did you guys read it too?
Yep.
I read volume 1.
Okay.
Yep.
So who wants to start?
Sean, you never start. Go.
Yeah. Joe said Curtis watched 6 dance movies. That's true.
he is.
I did watch all 6 of the dance movies, including the one that was not in English. So
never
I didn't even know existed.
Never challenge Curtis to something, because he will outdo you no matter what.
I will out have you ever anybody.
Yeah, he will, and then he'll even tell you the credits at the end of the movie for the version that was never released in America. That'll be like, there you go, that's it.
All right, Sean.
So this book was actually it's weird. A couple weeks ago, Jesse, a while back, let me borrow the Northman, if I remember right. And this goes well.
You still have that, right?
Huh?
You still have it, right?
I can't remember the name off the top of my head. Sorry.
But you still have it, right?
Yes, I do. Don't worry about it. I have it. Yes.
You're never getting
borrowed that a year ago.
It's like a year ago. It was like a year ago.
But takes me a long time to read.
It's a
movie.
It's a movie, but it's a movie.
That's where he's been going wrong.
It's a movie that my wife and I wanted to sit down and watch together, and our schedules have been nuts. It took us a year to get to the point where we could sit down and watch it. But that being said, it reminds me of this, and it's almost like that could be either a sequel or something to this. It's you got your Viking lore, you got the camps and everything, and you could feel the winter and all that. You could feel like the coldness and how desperate it is to be in that kind of a lifestyle and stuff. And it's basically a story of one of the best warriors of the tribe dying and getting to turn into a Frankenstein monster, for lack of a better term. And it's pretty genius, the idea, if you ask me. I always thought it would be an interesting thing to take that concept of the Frankenstein monster and use it in a way where he's a protector and he's doing things against the supernatural. And this is one of those times where I'm like, well, shit, they took my idea. I guess I got to come up with something new. I enjoyed it, but what I thought too reading this was kind of like a broad strokes idea for it, because there's definitely moments where it gets into one thing and you're like, well, the setup wasn't there, it just goes into it. But that's how comics work, and that's the storytelling of comics. Sometimes more in a movie there might be more foreshadowing and stuff, but I really thought this could be an interesting premise to do as a movie, and it would work really well too. And the artwork, Joelle Jones doing the artwork, beautiful. Her women in the art are freaking gorgeous, and like she doesn't let it up with the brutality either, because there's some fight scenes in here that are pretty brutal, and I really was appreciating how visual she was getting with that stuff.
So yeah, I also enjoyed it very much. You know, it like Sean said, it's a basic premise. Two witches, you know, each trying to kill the other one to take control. One uses the dead, and one uses monsters. It was a lot of fun. The art is what really got me in this. It took what is a simple story, very straightforward. I mean, there's no big twists or turns or anything. It just, you know. But like that art is so striking, and the battle scenes are so intense and gruesome. And what I liked is there's only like 3 panels on each page, and it's just this big in your face bold statements. You know, you get into a lot of modern comics, and they're trying to tell something so complex where it's like, you know, you could have 7, 8, 10 panels on a page. But this thing just like boom, 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 like Sean said, it's all broad strokes, and that's all you need out of this.
Mm-hmm.
There's still plenty of little nuances and everything. You know, he like, you know, the Dugar, I don't know how you pronounce it, but yeah, the Frankenstein zombie that your main character is, like, you know. He's supposed to kill the other witch, and he ends up turning on his programming, and he befriends the girl who's got her own stuff going on. I did not see that last panel in volume 1. I won't spoil it for anybody who wants to go read it, but I did not see that ending coming. And I really like what they did with it, where not only is he a zombie Frankenstein, but then, like, out of his fallen victims, he can take parts from them to repair himself and everything, and adapt to different things. I'm like, that is a really cool concept that could keep, like, that could keep this series going fresh and everything. So I only had time to read the 1 volume, but I'm definitely very excited to read the 2nd volume. And I'm kind of sad because it seems like there's only 2 volumes out there, unless I'm mistaken.
Nope.
And maybe Jesse, how is this a recent series, or has this been done for a while? Like, is there a chance that something else is in the pipeline?
It's possible. I mean, it's been, both of the creators are doing other stuff at the moment. I hope they'd at least come back to kind of finish out a trilogy of it. Because the 2nd volume, I think, is also very good. The art, again, is amazing. We'll let Curtis get into his thoughts, but yeah, I have not seen anything about it coming back yet, but it's been at least, I want to say, 5 or 6 years since it came out.
Oh, okay.
It was definitely well before COVID.
Gotcha.
So, first of all, I fucking loved it. I thought it was amazing. I loved what Dooch was saying, that it wasn't a whole lot of reading. It was easy for a dumb guy like me to get into. And there's just a lot of action and stuff. And I'll tell you what, like, I was hooked on the first chapter. So there's 6 chapters in the first volume, 6 or 7 chapters. And the first chapter, I was hooked. I'm reading through it. I'm sitting on the couch, and I'm like, oh, I got to read through this thing that Jesse's making me read for the show. And my wife's sitting over here on the computer, and I'm like, 12 feet away on the couch, and I'm sitting there reading, and a few pages in, I gasp. And she's like, "Oh, what's that?" I was like, "Oh, it's this story." And then I read a few more pages and I gasp again. I gasped 3 times in the first chapter. And she's like, "Oh, that must be pretty good." I was like, "It's crazy." Like in the first, because at the start, I feel like it's going to be just like these, some sort of Viking tale or something, like warring factions or whatever. So when they kill the guys, and then then all of a sudden they come back alive, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like they came back alive. Like what the fuck? And then like then the main dude, like this, you can tell this guy's the main character, and then he gets killed, and you're like, "Fuck!" They just killed the main guy. Like they cut. Not only they kill him, they cut off his head. Like this is like that's it. He's fucking donezo. There's no, it's not like he got Qui-Gon'd and I don't know, he got a little stab in the stomach. He may come back from that. No, his head's gone. And then I was surprised too when right before that, like his dad is like trying to throw the woman to the bad guys, and you're like, "Oh, this poor woman's getting thrown to the bad guys." So you don't realize that she's been doing all this bad shit and collecting these dead bodies and everything. And then at the end of the chapter, you see the guy brought back to life with all these other parts sewn onto him and stuff, and you're like, this is fucking crazy. So yeah, after the first chapter, I was like, I gotta keep reading this shit. So I, like Dooch was saying, I loved how he could just kind of like upgrade with new parts from different like people or demons or whatever. And it's just like, "Oh, this one had wings. Fuck, those are mine now." And like at one point he gets shot through the eye with an arrow. Like the arrow goes right through his eye, and I'm like, "Oh shit, he just got shot through the fucking eye." I was like, "Oh, I'll just take this dude's half of his head with the fucking horn and stuff." And so it's really cool. And as soon as I got done, I ordered volume 2. I'm waiting for it to come in. But I enjoyed it so much that I was like, I need to read something else. And I went right out to the comic book store and was looking for Last Ronin. They didn't have it. I ended up ordering it on Amazon. But so Jesse's got me reading. So I do blame him for that. But this was an awesome story. I very much appreciate that he recommended this one because it is something that I'm glad that I've experienced because it's really cool.
Awesome. I'm happy to finally pick something that everybody enjoyed and made it through.
I mean, it's no Cloak and Dagger, but
it's definitely no Cloak and Dagger. But what is?
That is accurate. I'll say this. Just because the artwork is definitely what drew me into it, but yeah, the story is captivating, and the way Sean was describing it's cinematic. Like you were saying, like there's not a lot of dialogue. It's not super difficult to read, but there's a lot going on. And yeah, I think the art is absolutely beautiful, and the book that she did before this, like the artwork doesn't look anything like this. The thing that got me to pay attention to this artist. It was such a difference. So reading it was like basically like it was like 12 little chapters of a book. It's called 12 Reasons Why I Love Her, and it's like little windows into this couple's life, and it's all out of order. So it's kind of like you don't know if they're together or whatever. It was just something we had in the shop. I liked the artwork, and when I looked at that and then looked at the artwork.
And that hotel Wi-Fi gets you every time.
It froze, or if everyone else froze.
There you are. That was you.
So yeah, my iPad is dying and the Wi-Fi is not that great here. So yeah, well, I'm glad everybody enjoyed it. The second was cool, and the Daugar, Drugar, however you not Drugar, that's the dwarves. However you say it in the movie The Northman, that scene where all the body parts are like nailed to the barn door or what the face of the barn. That's what they're talking about is what he is in this comic. They use the same word there, and if you listen to the music, there's people like chanting, like it's really intense, and that's one of the words they're saying.
Gotcha. And Kevin threw out there that if we like this, we should check out Shadow of the Gods trilogy. It's a dark Viking fantasy.
Interesting.
No pictures for Curtis. Sounds like it's an actual novel.
Yeah,
He does recommend Audible book.
There it.
yeah, that might work.
Thank
Might
you.
work. I'm looking for something to listen to on the way to Legion's Con. I got a 15-hour drive, so.
There we go. Thank you, Jesse. And I
Critical Role will take you several hundred hours to listen to.
And I think we know what Jesse's next Have You Ever has done, because apparently once Curtis is challenged,
He has tried the cartoon 3 times. I am
3
not
times,
gonna recommend him to do it again.
I've tried the cartoon almost as much as I've tried New Adventures of He-Man, and I can't make it through that either.
All right, I think Sean is up.
I believe
Ooh.
it is. Oh no, didn't I think it was Sean, then me, then Jesse. Didn't Sean do the Superman?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
I did,
I did
Dagger. Yeah, I think you're up, dude.
Yeah, you're up, dude.
Oh, I'm up. All right. Yeah, I will come up with something then.
Okay.
Right now,
Do you have a lightning round or something for us to kill time? What do you think?
I do actually. And I also wanted to bring up Nerd Rage Podcast says that they allegedly have the leaked episodes for season 2 of Marvel's What If. So I thought it'd be
Interesting.
fun if we went through these real quick here.
I don't want to hear about leak stuff.
What's that?
Oh, I guess we're doing it.
You don't want to
Yeah.
hear about leak stuff? All right, I'll
Totally
save
good.
that until after your tablet dies.
Okay.
Lightning round then. That's my shopping list. I need the other one.
All right, eggs. What do you guys think?
The eggs were on the list.
Eggs, toilet paper, bread, and milk.
That's
Okay.
the be a snow weather.
Snow emergency kit.
Yeah.
So this one, you guys might be a little bit old for this, but I'm going to do it anyways.
Screw you.
So out of the Generation 1 Pokemon starters, who are you choosing as your starter Pokemon? Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle?
Do you do anything seriously?
Yes. I even brought pictures in case you didn't know what I was talking about.
I still don't know what you're talking about.
One of these guys gets to be your companion. Which cute and cuddly do you want? We'll start with Sean and work our way up since Jesse needs a minute to process.
The turtle. Squirtle, I guess, right?
Yep,
Is it-
yep.
Yeah.
Did I freeze before I said what my choice was?
Yes, you froze up. That way we went with Sean. Now we're doing Curtis, then we're going to do you.
Okay.
I don't give a fuck. Whatever.
He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, this is dumb.
Jesse.
Anal flower turtle frog.
Oh,
That green thing looks like his name should be Sphincter Blossom.
Yes.
I don't.
Winter Blossom.
for all the cute and cuddly stuff that Jesse likes.
I don't have anything against these. I just don't know them.
I don't know that Jesse's ever made a custom with a sphincter blossom.
I think he should. And then of course I got to go Charmander. Although Bulbasaur was the first one that I ever picked to play in a game. So,
Okay.
thank you guys. Next up, if you could own a single arcade cabinet for your own personal pleasure, what would it be?
Oh.
Like an old fashioned arcade.
Yeah,
stand-up.
actual stand. I mean, year whatever, but the actual stand-up cabinet, not one of those emulator mod ones, like an actual, from an arcade at some point. What would it be? Curtis, we'll start with you.
Oh, I'm going first?
Yep.
Shit. Oh, man. There's a lot of good ones.
Mm-hmm.
The Turtles one was always really fun. There's the X-Men one that I really liked, but I think I'm gonna have to kind of go a little bit off script here and do. There was like back in the day, like restaurants, like at least several of them that we would go to, had these like tabletop ones that was like you could eat on the table, but it was also like a Miss Pac-Man on the table. Like the table was like glass, and the controls were like underneath, and you could play the Miss Pac-Man.
Absolutely.
I think I would have to go with that one just because it I don't know. It's just a really cool. I could see that like just putting it in your house somewhere, or even in your kitchen or something, or dining room. So I think I might have to go with that one.
I like it. Solid choice. Solid choice. Jesse.
I don't know if this counts, but I'm going to say the Jurassic Park pinball machine.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
I love that pinball game. I was decent at it, but yeah, I love the Jurassic Park pinball.
I like it.
I don't know that I recall the Jurassic Park pinball. Was there anything like can you tell us any of the special things that it did or whatever?
It had like one of those like digital screens on it where there were like little animations. If you, there was like, oh no, stampede, and you'd see like dinosaur feet. It had like an animatronic T-Rex that would come down and like.
Oh, that's cool.
And it just had like sound clips and stuff from the movie. I just it's like the only pinball game I've ever like really enjoyed, and
Cool.
Yeah, I really like that one.
I like it. Sean?
The original, the 4-player Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Good call.
Absolutely.
Solid
Love that.
choice. Yep, that's a good one. I got to go Marvel versus Capcom, the first one.
Nice. That's another good one.
Shit out of that. Just a fun time.
If I was gonna do a side scroller game, it would have to be the X-Men one, like with the like Colossus and Cyclops and Wolverine. Yeah,
Exactly.
that thing was so cool. I mean,
Now,
I can't tell you how many quarters I lost on that thing.
If I was gonna do a side scroll, it'd be any of the Turtles ones, the 4-player and all that. But since Sean said it,
Sean, were you always Colossus in the X-Men one?
Absolutely. I played the other ones just to see, but yeah, the minute I saw Colossus was on there, I like dove at that game because I was like, oh my god, I get to play my favorite character. Of course, I'm going to be Colossus. Just like when I saw Leonardo was an option, it's like Leo, I'm good.
Yeah, I always got to play Colossus because like everybody else wanted to play Wolverine, and I was like, I'd rather have Colossus. Yeah.
If I had to pick an actual video game, arcade game, I would probably pick Rampage. I love Rampage.
that's a good one too.
That's a good one too.
Yeah. Kevin threw out Primal Rage, which was also a really fun game. We got Orchestra, Frogger, Donkey Kong, I assume. And Kevin threw out Golden Axe as well.
We've got this local place that opened up probably about 3 or 4 years ago, and it's like a brewery. Like they do like their own in-house brews and stuff, but they also have like all these arcade games and pinball machines, and they're all a quarter. Like everything's a quarter.
Nice.
But because they serve beer, you have to be 21 to get in. So it's all adults. There's no kids in there and stuff. And so, yeah, you can take a roll of quarters and go in there and spend like the whole day in there, and they've got like all this stuff, like everything you remember as a kid, they've got in there. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Awesome.
I got some in the chat. You got Frogger, Donkey Kong, Golden Axe.
Yeah, we did all those.
Spy Hunter.
Thanks for paying attention.
I like Spy Hunter. Spy Hunter
was
I've never heard of that one.
You never played Spy Hunter with the car and the oil slick and the smoke screens and stuff?
That one had the steering wheel and everything. So
that one was fun.
It had not the James Bond. I forget the name of the spy show from the 60s. But it had that other. If you heard it, you'd know the theme song.
The music,
because of the theme. Yeah, that's what he said. He wants it just for the theme song. Yeah, it's because That was cool.
I just liked all the extra, like the shit, like getting the, the guns and the smoke screen and the oil slick and everything. And then you had the cars that came up that had the like spikes on their tires and like run you off the road and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Sons of bitches.
I also liked. I don't think I ever played it in the arcade, but I loved playing it on Atari, and I wish I could have played it in the arcade. Was Joust. Love Joust.
Joust is great.
I don't think I've ever played Joust.
I know I've heard of it, but I don't.
I have too, but I think I even saw it places, but I never played it.
Yeah, it was fun. You're running around on like these like flying ostrich chicken bird things and charging all around. Yeah, I really love that. And Cubert was great.
Did any of you guys ever play the old Dungeons and Dragons game back in the day on the arcade game?
Mm-hmm.
I always
remember.
I don't remember an arcade game at all.
Yeah, it almost looked like a cartoon or something. Like it was very like
that.
Like,
That's the I cannot remember for the life of me. It was on Stranger Things. Even they played it there. Dirk the Dragon Lair. Yeah.
Oh, that's what I was talking about. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Yes.
And it was on like a disc that was in the machine, and you had to literally time things.
Phillips.
In like a split second and all that, and I'd only get the pill. I think the longest I ever lasted on that game in the arcade might have been 30 seconds, and I'd get the one thing wrong, and then it'd all go to hell.
I never played it, but it always looked cool. I was like, oh, I want to play that.
I never played it in the arcade, but I remember they released like a DVD shortly after I was out of high school.
Yep.
And like you used your DVD remote to play it. And
we
did
that. Well, the
reaction time was terrible.
The reaction time was terrible. I had a group of buddies over one night.
All right, Jesse. Wait, hang on, real quick. I got my Have You Ever.
There you
go. Sorry, Curtis, but I've really been enjoying this, so I'm going to throw it out there. There is an Audible version. I did check that first. But I'm going to throw out, have you ever read The Book of Three by Lloyd Alexander? Because I started it. Haven't had a chance to finish it, but because I'm going to maybe read Helheim this week. And yeah, I think everyone would enjoy it.
The Book of Three. Okay.
And just like that, he was gone.
And just poof.
Curtis, I know Jesse has read it before. Curtis and Sean are the two people that are left. Have either of you read The Book of Three?
I have not.
Fuck no.
Okay.
It's a book, right?
Have you seen Disney's The Black Cauldron?
Yes, when I was a kid.
This is the book that movie is loosely based on.
All right, I'll watch the movie.
Nope, that will not suffice.
You just said.
The more that I'm reading this book, the more I see how vastly different the movie is. So basically, The Book of Three is the first book in a series, and they just kind of took a bunch of pieces from all of the books and kind of mashed them together into that. So
how big of a book are we talking about here?
It's not very big.
Because we got 2 weeks. Is this like we're gonna get?
No, it's not a Stephen King. It's even in the young adult section at the library, which is where I got it from. The Audible book is 5 hours, if that helps.
Next question.
Yep.
Do you think that I'm at a young adult reading level?
Yes. You'll have to sound out some words.
After this, yes.
We're going to get you there.
I'm going to see if there's like crypt notes for this. All right.
I think if you can get into it, Curtis, you will enjoy it. 217 pages. So,
all right, we'll see. And I got to see if I can see the tough part about these reading ones is first finding it, getting a copy of it, and then going through it, because
this one's an actual
like
book,
the movie ones or whatever. Like if we do a movie one, like you just go online and you watch it, like it's done. Like the first dance one I had done the first night that we had it. The Elizabethtown I watched the same night that he recommended it. But these reading ones, it's like half the battle is just finding the thing to begin with, and then from there you got to read it.
Definitely check your local library, or it's like
Now, what's that
on Amazon?
I'm not gonna lie. I'll probably
place
What's
that you
a
just talked
library?
about. Yeah.
library. I'm probably going to do the Audible one just because if he said it's 5 hours, that's basically from the time my kids go to school until they come home. And I can have it done in a day probably if I listen the whole time.
Well, fuck 5 hours. That's only like 2 Eurolegions long. So
Yeah.
And
1.5
hopefully
MCU movies. So
well
and
hopefully
how much is
narrate it.
like? Do you have to pay for the audio, or how do you get it?
I've
have to figure that out.
And I think it's a monthly subscription to Audible. I think it's like $8. So it'd be the same as buying it. Or check your local library, like I said.
All right. Joe, libraries for nerds. That's right, Joe. You tell them.
And actually, some libraries
some
do.
teenagers done a book report for it or something that I can find online.
Some libraries have audiobooks as well for checkout.
He's the next episode when we talk about this, he's just gonna have his phone and he's gonna read a review and he's like, well, they didn't tell me what I liked yet. Hang on.
Yeah. Let me tell you about the interpersonal themes of the story.
The subtleties of the subplot structure are truly grandiose. He doesn't know words like that.
Yes.
He knows fuck and things like that. I think in a roundabout way he means hard pass, but he can't hard pass this because it's part of the show. So
it's a have you ever, so I got to try.
Have you ever? Yep.
Yeah.
All right, you boys want to go through these plot leaks here?
I think I'd rather be fresh, seeing it. Like What If is one of those that does kind of catch me by surprise, and I don't they come out with this crazy off the wall shit. So I think knowing it beforehand would ruin it. Like if it was any other show, I may, but not for What If.
Okay.
The part that's blowing my mind is the Dooch is usually the least interested in spoilers and leaks.
But it's not really a spoiler. It's just the
No, a leak technically could lead to a spoiler, maybe though.
It's just saying what the episode's about, which on What If
But that's the main part of the What If.
I read all the episode descriptions before I watched it.
See, I didn't do that either.
You just hit play not knowing that this was Marvel Zombies because it says right there Marvel Zombies when you
I just hit play. Whatever it is what comes up.
All right.
Yeah.
It popped up on my Facebook feed, and I have some opinions on it, but I'll share that privately.
You know, sometimes things pop up on the computer and you're not supposed to click on them.
No, you're always supposed to.
Yeah, it can lead to bad things. So.
All right.
You mean she didn't want the phone set? Okay, fine. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, I gave her my social security number. She's definitely getting back to me.
Nice.
I gave her my credit card for I swear.
I've been getting these. The one I've been getting a lot on Instagram is the. Well, I just hit $150 million on the Powerball, and I'm giving $5,000 away to the first 50 people that follow me. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay.
Oh, I will say as a follow-up, I did assemble my gelatinous cube during the show. I'm definitely gonna have to hit it with some heat because some of these panels are not straight, so the lid won't go on. But you know what? For $8, it's got a satchel and it's got a book. So like, the accessories alone, I think, are worth $8.
This is why Joe is the one audience member we're like, hey, you want to join in every now and then? He gets it. I love it.
I just don't know why hot Asians are looking for a guy like me right now. What
about that Nigerian prince that's out there? I mean, sweet Lord. I mean, come on. There's money involved in this. I'm locked in. Come on.
All right.
boys.
We're,
Curtis,
we're late. We're so late in the night that nobody's watching anyway. So I mean, like,
tell the
yeah.
few people that are here where they can find us, Curtis.
oh no, not yet. This is story time with Curtis.
Oh, we've got a
Oh,
story.
here we go.
One of the other ones that I get, you get the
How do I mute Curtis?
you get the fake accounts of the girls that try to talk to you and like
Yeah.
start a conversation and stuff. So the first thing that I do is I will take the image that they use and do a reverse image search to find out which celebrity or Instagram model or OnlyFans model or whoever that they're impersonating or using their stuff.
Yeah.
And I will send them a nude photo of that person. So it's like I'm sending them nudes of themselves, and that's it. There's no more contact.
Nice.
Yeah. Hey, you should have used this as your profile. Done.
I always like when you're just scrolling through and it's got like the people you may know, and you'll see the obviously fake profile pic with
Yeah.
like, tons of cleavage or whatever. And then I'll say one mutual friend. And I always like clicking through like, who is the dumbass? And then I'm always disappointed in Sean for friending them.
Hey, everybody's got to have
77
love sometime.
makes a good point. Hot Asians love a sumo champ. That is true. I've heard that.
Obviously.
So Joe says Curtis is talking about half of my Instagram
Yeah.
followers.
So I don't want to rip this off from my wife is gonna kill me, but because we were just talking about scrolling through and I was curious if that leak ended up on my feed somehow. And this is the first thing that shows up right here. Matthew Rodriguez. All he posts is someday, and that's it.
As Matt
Like-
says.
I know, but
Yeah.
it's like
Someday.
It was like I'm listening. My wife is gonna kill me this week, and they're talking about there was that lady in the Transformers group that like posts pictures of herself like naked, but then with a transformer like covering like the parts that you can't show on Facebook and stuff. And like people like this, like some people were complaining saying that she needed to be kicked off of that group or whatever. And I guess she's an admin of the group, so she can't be kicked out.
oh
And then the next thing you see is a post that says welcome all the new members, and it was like all the my wife is gonna kill me guys and all of their cronies in Michigan. It was like
And Justice Curry is very upset trying to figure out how he can do that.
like, and they're sitting there making fun of her on the show, like but then they all join the group.
oh my God.
Oh, I gotta love it.
Good times.
All right, guys. Well, it has been a lot of fun, but I've got to go search for a fucking book now. So,
What? Just for anybody listening and watching, we won't hear the end of this for 2 weeks. Just so you know. So this is the beginning of what we have. For 2 weeks.
I'm just hoping that this is one of those where, like, a couple weeks go by and then somebody can't make it. Somebody's got a football game or a D&D or something else, and then it goes another 2 weeks. So the next time that we actually have to do the Have You Ever, it's like a month later, and I actually get plenty of time to find this book and read it. But we'll see.
I will say, you bring up football. I was very surprised today. Number one, I was very happy last night that professional football is back. Number two, I was very surprised.
And the worst team in the NFL is the Chiefs right now, so that's great.
Yes, exactly. Mahomes leads the league in interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. So, and that was what surprised me this morning is that my buddy Curtis Ackerman here was posting NFL-related stuff. Very funny, on point NFL-related stuff. Because I'm so used to everybody else looking at me like a dumbass when I start talking football. And then I was also disappointed when Curtis started drinking out of a Raiders mug during this episode. So, you win.
I am a Raiders fan, and the only thing that I like more than a Raiders win is a Chiefs loss.
Now, have you always been a Raiders fan, or did the Vegas move?
I have been a Raiders fan since Bo started playing with them. I
Okay.
believe it was like 87. I lived in Kansas City for a little bit. and I hated the Chiefs. That even then when I lived in Kansas. And I was a Royals fan though, and so when Bo started playing for the Raiders, I became a Raiders fan and been a Raiders fan ever since. So
Makes perfect sense.
but yeah, I love seeing the Chiefs lose. So
Absolutely. And Sean said, "Fuck you guys."
Sean said, "That's it. I'm out too." Yeah, you guys are going to talk about football.
Yep, that's what I usually get. So
Yeah.
Who you got this? Who you got this weekend?
Hold on, Kevin says college football where it's at. Here's what I'll say. I know a lot of people that love college football. I know people are very passionate about their college football. What I have noticed is if you grew up in a big city, typically you follow the NFL. If you grew up in a small town, typically you follow college. And I just was never indoctrinated into that college atmosphere growing up. Like my dad never watched college football with me. Nobody in my school ever talked about college football. So trying to get into college football later on in life when you know nothing about the teams or who's in what divisions and all this kind of stuff is very difficult. And it's just, I just never been able to get into it. So
yeah, I grew up in a Cowboys Lions household. So J Mac definitely my extended family definitely feels your pain. I did wind up becoming a Bears fan once I moved to Indiana.
I did go to, I was living in Iowa for a little bit, and I went to University of Iowa State game, and it was fucking crazy. Like, I think when you got about 30 miles away from the stadium, from like 30 miles away in, everybody was in their front yard. Like, they weren't in their houses watching. Like, everybody's like tailgate, even if they weren't going to the game. Like, if they couldn't get tickets, they're tailgating in their front yard. It's like a 30-mile tailgate outside. And then you get inside the stadium, and these people are just nuts, man. Like, they are so passionate. Like, I've never seen that in it. So, you know, I appreciate what Kevin's saying, and it does feel like college is a great atmosphere. It's just something I've never I never grew up with. So
and Anthony, my mom, may she rest in peace, she was the Cowboys fan. So yeah.
Is that your stick it to Anthony
Bears fan
thing?
Love it, yeah. And Joe is clearly delusional. Sorry, buddy, but it's not.
Yeah, I don't know about that, Joe, man. I love you, but I'm not sure what you guys are doing with your quarterback situation. And
it's
you guys threw away a lot of draft picks on somebody that you just gave away, basically. So I don't know, man.
Good luck there.
But good luck, Joe. Good luck.
But yeah, I hate it when week one's a division rival, and we got the Packers week one. So
we got the Broncos, and
that'd be a good game.
Here, so the last 2 years, the NFL Sunday Ticket has been on DirecTV. My dad's got DirecTV, and for some reason, I guess they draw out certain names, and those folks, they give it to the season for free.
Oh, wow.
So the last 2 years, he's gotten NFL Sunday Ticket for free. Nice. And this year, it's now with YouTube.
Yep.
And if you don't have the YouTube Plus or whatever, it's like $400. And I'm sitting there looking at the schedule and looking at my team this year, and I'm like, is this worth? Am I going to get $400 worth of enjoyment out of this?
No.
And I just don't know. I gotta wait. I'm hoping that maybe they string a few wins together. It looks decent midway through the year. YouTube puts some sort of deal up for the rest of the season, and maybe I can watch some of the games. But yeah,
I will say my nephew just got the Sunday Ticket. You'd probably have to check your area if you even have it, but we have Verizon Internet here, which sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But they were giving away Sunday Ticket for free with new sign-up. So he signed up for Verizon Internet for $50 a month, got the Sunday Ticket. He's not even using the Verizon Internet. He just is paying $50 a month for it to get the login.
I saw that they had partnered together and they were giving away subscriptions for the year. But I tried that Verizon Internet for a bit, and it was fucking.
Oh, it's garbage.
It was so terrible.
It's complete and utter garbage. But
yeah.
But yeah, if you can get that login, and then use your good internet and not
Yeah.
it up.
Yeah, it depends on I can't remember how much the Verizon internet's cost, and I don't know if there's certain if you're locked in to keep it for a certain amount of time. But
Right.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna give it 3 or 4 weeks, see what kind of start they get off to, and then if YouTube offers a deal, then maybe, or maybe I can find some games for free somehow. Maybe find a little cheater station. So
there's definitely ways. Maybe someone might be able to message you privately later.
Gotcha.
All right. So I guess Sean's really done.
Yeah, we've been slowly losing, people in the comment section. We've been slowly losing host of the show.
I will say they came back with that football talk, so we're gonna have to keep some stuff going there.
We'll have a segment at the end of each OffWorld where we kick Jesse and Sean off and talk about football.
All right, where can they find us, Curtis?
Well, let's see. We've got a show on Sunday, me and Jesse. We have got the amazing Cosmic Enforcer, Kevin Dufresne, is going to be on with us Sunday night. We're very excited. We had to really twist his arm. He does not do a lot of appearances, so this may be your only chance to see Kevin. So make sure you show up. Definitely want to have a good talk with him about the Cosmic Legions, what kind of plans he has, what things he's been doing, and just his paintwork in general. So Shooting the Shelf on the Just Shelve It channel Sunday night. We'll probably be back here next Friday for some sort of off week or whatever. We'll see. We don't know what that'll entail. You can check us out on the Legendati Facebook group. And and then why don't you tell them about your Legends of Grayskull?
Legends of Grayskull. It's also on YouTube. Or we also release an audio version for those old folks like me that refuse to watch YouTube. You can get us wherever pods are cast or subscribe to the YouTube channel. We just released our Masters of the Universe Forge of Destiny issue 1 review. That was a lot of fun. We talked about the Eternia's crowdfund. We had an unexpected peeping Tom that joined me and Sean.
Wow.
For a little threesome action. So go over and check that out.
Can I tell you something in secret, just me and you, since nobody else is watching?
Yeah, no one else is here. Everyone logged off.
I love when you say where pods are cast.
I know, right? It's one of those things that came early in the thing, and I've never been able to let it go.
Every time you say it, I'm like,
lightning in a
awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe, like, share, all that, and enjoy this awesome outro music.